Life in our 30s, work gets busier, some people start a family with an increasing amount of house chores, our body changes, and we have less and less time just for ourselves. I'm a 35 years old native Japanese speaker, and I once failed to keep learning Mandarin as a third language in my 30s. But with only 3 mindset shifts, my learning has been quite sustainable and effective for more than a year, even with many other things to do. So this video will walk you through those 3 mindset shifts that made my learning successful. If you like the ideas, you can start from today. Let's get to it. The first thing I did wrong was I tried to learn fast. Now let's take a look at this. The vertical axis is proficiency and the horizontal one is time. And when I try to learn fast, my expectation goes like this. But my actual growth is usually slower than that because I'm not talented, and this gap demotivates me. Like I study hard, but I don't feel I'm growing. Trying to learn fast in our 30 is understandable and it makes sense because the sooner the better if we think about, say, career opportunities. And there are a bunch of YouTube videos about how to do that. But I fail even as a person who already speaks a second language. The reason is pretty easy. My life and thoughts have changed a lot in my 30s, so the learning strategy needed to change as well. But I learned as if I was younger. So what I do instead is pretty simple. I lower my expectations and learn at a natural pace, like not spending too much time per day. This may sound so lame, I know, but it makes my learning sustainable. When I expect less, my growth always meets or exceeds the expectation, which generates positive feelings of rewards and satisfaction. Learning at a natural pace, like not studying long and hard per day, helped me build a learning habit at the beginning, and even after the habit is built, it also helped me to keep the habit because it doesn't have much friction with my current life. Slowing things down may need some courage, but it's not lame at all. It's just a strategy that makes the learning sustainable, and it's way better than quitting halfway through the goal. So the first mindset shift is from trying to learn fast to expecting lower and having the courage to learn at a natural pace to make the learning sustainable. The second thing I did wrong was I tried to be efficient. Now again, it makes sense, right? Like seeking for efficient ways when we don't have much time. And in my case, I had already acquired English as a second language, so I thought I knew what it takes and how to be efficient. But it didn't work in my 30s because things were different from when I was learning English as a student. So what I do instead is I pay more attention to effectiveness. By effectiveness, I mean two things: effective scientifically and practically. So the science I like the best so far and widely accepted is what Dr. Stephen Krashen says. He's one of the most famous linguists. And what he keeps saying is, we acquire a language when we understand communication. And I can't agree more from my own experience because the majority of my English learning was from TV series, which is a communication medium. I tried to understand one conversation and another, and I just kept going like that. And that's when I feel my second brain in English was being built. Other stuff like building vocabulary or understanding grammar rules was also important, but in terms of making the foundation of a language brain, learning from communication did the best work, and that's what science says as well. So the science is science, then what does it mean by effective practically? This is just about our personal preferences. The principle is understanding communication, and there are many ways to do that, right? So what I did was I just chose the one that I can enjoy the most, because one of the keys to success in language acquisition is to keep learning. And when I choose the most enjoyable or the least stressful process, it makes me more likely to succeed. If you like reading and you understand what's written, that's also practical and aligned with the principle. Same goes to talking. Everyone has different personalities and preferences, and that's fine. The essence is to know the science and put that into practice in a personal best way. So the second mindset shift is from efficiency to effectiveness. And by effectiveness, what I mean is to know the principle of how the human brain acquires a language and to figure out the best way for myself. The last thing I did wrong was I was being hard on myself. No matter how much I learned, I always thought I was still bad, so I was like, I should be doing more. But that way of pushing myself didn't work. I mean, it used to work when I was younger, but not in my 30s because it's too stressful. We're already stressed with many things in our life, and I don't really want language learning to make myself even more stressed because that's something I really love. So the first thing I did instead was I accepted the fact that it takes time to acquire a new language, even though I succeeded in the second one. And this somehow makes me feel a lot better and comfortable, and I can just be being myself. What I additionally do is I pay attention to the progress I've made so far. I learn mostly every day and I write things down, so I see how much I did on the day and say to myself, "Oh, I did good enough." It sounds pretty funny to hear myself saying that, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm lazy or something. It's just a new strategy in a new lifestyle in my 30s. I just shifted where to pay attention to. In my case, thinking this way generates positive feelings and it's been really motivating. So the last mindset shift is from being hard on myself to going easy on myself. That's all I have for you today. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and see you next time. Thanks for watching.